Thank you. Welcome to Brighton Music Conference. We've got DJ Mag Presents, and we're talking about representation in dance music. We're actually live now. We've got a fantastic panel to have a discussion in terms of black representation in the dance music industry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you all out there and tell you a little bit about themselves, and then we're going to jump straight into the crux of the conversation. So I'm going to go screen down. So I'm going to start with Rowetta, and Rowetta's going to tell you all about herself, and we're going to carry on from there.
I'm Rowetta from Manchester. I'm a singer, songwriter. I'm most known probably for the Happy Mondays, but I actually started singing house music. And I did a famous sample that's been sampled by a lot of people, Reach Out and Be. It's been sampled by nearly everybody. And right now I'm working with, got tunes out with Todd Terry and Jodie Harsh, and loads to come.
Thank you very much. And also got DJ Paulette, world-renowned.
Hi. Hi, I don't know whether you can hear me, it keeps cutting out. Yes, I am DJ Paulette. I've been DJing since 1992, started off at the Hacienda, and then moved to London in 94, and alongside DJing, I started working for Mercury Records, and I became the dance music PR for Manifesto and Talking Loud Records from 94 to 98. And that involved me working with dance music at a time when dance music had this massive big explosion. So my project, my roster on Talking Loud was Ronnie Size and Represent, For Hero, Terry Callier, New Eureka Soul, some of the biggest, most groundbreaking albums in dance music, dance and electronic music between 94 to 98. And with Manifesto Records, it was Todd Terry, David Morales, Gusto, a lot of the Josh Wink, and a lot of the big hit dance music singles between 94 and 96. And then in 2000, I moved to, I forgot. I was the promotions director and A&R director for Razuli Records, and I helped to launch Defected Records to the press between 98 to 2000. And then 2004, I moved to Paris, and just was this female DJ in a big world of white male DJs, and very big white male DJs, and I played alongside David Guetta, Bob Sinclair, Martin Solveig, Joachim Garode, all the big boys really, and I did that for about 10 years. And then I moved to Ibiza, did 2 years there, worked for Ibiza Rocks and Pikes, and then moved back to Manchester in 2015 and got back into DJing again here, working for people like Homo Block, Homo Electric, Albert Schloss, Parklife, various other people, but I worked up from the bottom, and now I'm kind of working for the big boys.
Thank you, Paulette. That's a really detailed introduction. Thank you very much.
I tried to keep it brief, but you know.
Come on, that's your life story there.
No, it's not.
But I love it. No, I'm joking.
Rob is one half of Mutiny and It Hurts. Hello, I think we've lost you on the volume there, Rob. What? Few technical issues there. Whilst Rob is sorting that out, I'm going to move on to Jaguar, who is she's the next generation of DJs coming through and presenters. She's got a show on Radio 1, and I'm going to let her tell you a lot more about what she's about.
Oh, thank you. Can I just say it's like an honor to be amongst all of you legends. Like seriously, like thank you for paving the way, first of all. Yeah, I'm 25. I've been sort of making my way in the industry the last sort of 4-ish years, and now I do a weekly show on BBC Radio 1 called BBC Introducing Dance, and it's all about playing and championing and supporting and discovering new electronic music across all genres from artists based in the UK. And I've been doing that since April, and then sort of just DJing anywhere and everywhere. I did a warehouse project residency last year. I'm just out and about, but yeah, sort of radio and pushing new talent forward is my thing, and it's deeply inspiring to be with you guys who've inspired me throughout my journey, and I hope we can inspire the next generation with this conversation today.
Oh, big time. Big time. This is why we do it as well, you know. It's like you have to pass the baton, and you have to you know, in some way hope that whatever you do, whatever examples you set, whatever inroads you make it easier for the next people to come through, or and also we can learn in the other way as well, because I can watch how you work, Jags, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm learning so much from you guys, and I've learned so much this year. It's been like a massive learning curve for me. So it's really nice that you can get that two-way.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're just quickly going to try and get Rob back online, but hi there. So well, okay. But let me just... Sorry about that, technical issues. It was all working fine before we actually joined the panel, but like with all these things, sometimes this happens. Now, we're going to try and get Rob back online. He's going to try and dial in, but in the meanwhile, let's start the conversation off with all your personal experiences. Once again, I'm going to go down the line, and I'd like to speak to Rowetta about what she's experienced in terms of Black representation in dance music, some of the negative aspects as well as the positive aspects as well.
About the negative aspects, I just try my best. I know Manchester's no more for the white males, and I wish there were more Black people came through. But I have noticed over the years, the thing that upsets me the most, I've been sampled a lot without being credited. When people talk about me, they often say the backing singer, and yet they don't say it about Anna from the Scissor Sisters. It'll be Talisa from N-Dubs. It would be Fergie from Black Eyed Peas, but Rowetta, backing singer from Happy Mondays. They might as well say blacking singer, because they only really say it about Black girls. I am not a backing singer. I'm a singer. I'm a great singer. I get sampled more than most of them. I sing better than most of them. I'm been sampled by Black Eyed Peas, but they'll still say Fergie from Black Eyed Peas and Rowetta, backing singer. I'm not a backing singer. I'm not just a sampled singer. I'm a singer. And it really, really pisses me off. And it is a colour thing. And I try to say it's not, but it is. Stop calling me a blacking singer. And when people interview me now, I say, don't call me a backing or announce me as. I just say, don't say my surname because I don't like my husband. Don't call me a backing singer. My name is Rowetta. I'm a singer. I've been doing it long enough now. I've sung with enough people for everybody to know who I am. They don't have to disrespect me by calling me anything surname or anything blacking singer. So that's the thing I get pissed off the most about. It really pisses me off. Other than that, I think I do really well because I don't look at people because of colour. I look at good music for music. Great music is great music. I sing with white, black, any colour bands, any style of genre music that suits my voice if I love the song, and I'll write with people regardless of colour. And like Todd Terry's very, very much at the forefront of Black music, and he speaks very, very well for Black people. But I don't like, I still like the fact that he still works with white people. It's not that segregated within music. But I do love working, because I've worked with a white band for so long. It's great to work with fantastic Black successful producers and be known in my own right as a singer. Now it's Todd Terry and Rowetta when the song comes out. Not he just samples me and doesn't even mention my name. What you do for years. And loads of people, they sample me, never mention my name. Everybody thinks the bit at the beginning of Show Me Love is Robin S. It's me. You know, Laid Back Luke and Steve Angelo, it's me. Black Eyed Peas, Boom Boom Pow, it's me. Just, it's me. I'm not a backing singer.
You know,
One, two.
Sorry, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One of the questions I was going to pick up on with you as we progressed into the conversation, but I'm glad you pulled it up. So this has been something that has followed you around throughout your career. You know, you've always been pushed into the background.
Well, no, I've not been pushed into the background. It's people.
Oh, right.
People talking about me as if I'm a backing singer, and that's it. If you come and see the Happy Mondays, I'm very, very far from it. Me and Bez are at the front all the time. I sing all the way through. I choose to sing backing vocals on certain songs. Todd Terry's singing backing vocals on my new single with him, but he's not a backing singer. So don't call me, don't call me a backing. I'm not backing anything. I've not been pushed to the back. It's just lazy journalism usually. Saying backing singer. I only say it's terrible because they don't say it about Talisa from N-Dubs. And I'm sorry, I'm a better singer than Talisa from N-Dubs, and I sing more than Talisa from N-Dubs. She doesn't get sampled the way I do. And so don't call me a backing singer because it pisses me off. But I will do an interview next week and somebody will say, so how you've been backing singing with Happy Mondays for how long? It's like, and I just want to walk out. It's just terrible. Ignorant. And but at the same time, I'm looking probably to be interviewed because they didn't used to even know who I was. I was just a voice, and I'm not just a voice. I'm a singer, I'm a known singer, and it's taken me years. And the social media and the internet has really helped me get myself known. If somebody samples me, I say, "Hey, stop it! Stop sampling me. You need to pay me. You need to credit me, and you need to praise me. You need to put my name on the record, as Oliver Heldens has just done. And lots of other people do now." But in the past, they would have just sampled me as if they can, the cheeky gets. Because when I meet you one day, which is what happened with me and Todd, I said, stop what you're doing. I know he's Todd the God, but you've got to stop it. And we've ended up we've done 4 tunes together since I told him to stop doing it, because I'm not being treated like that. I wouldn't let him be treated like that if he was just like a new DJ, young boy DJ, not singing. So anyway, sorry.
That's okay.
Do not apologize for that, please.
No, thank you.
You're absolutely right, because
just warning people.
No, but that is one of the points where Black people really do lose out in the music industry, and it's been happening from time. Even Elvis Presley did it, and not crediting the person that right. That wrote Hound Dog. They totally ripped that track off. But
people do think we're all the same though, and it's disgusting, and it's just another black singer. Oh, can you do some gospel singing on this? They've got no respect at all. When Denise Johnson passed away, they were using pictures of Mary Pierce from a Primal Scream gig. That's so disrespectful. And if that happens when I die, I swear to God, I'll come and hunt them down and haunt them. Using a picture of somebody else.
That doesn't even look the same.
It didn't even look like Mary in the picture. It doesn't look like anybody. It was just a bad picture of a
black singer.
Exactly. They used me in one picture. It's just absolutely disrespectful and stupid. But I hope it changes, and I will always speak out about that. But it really disgusted me. Denise Johnson should have been more respected than that. They wouldn't be doing it with Cheryl Cole. Don't do it with Denise Johnson.
Well, I think as media, we've got the opportunity to correct those mistakes and push forward. Exactly. And talking about DJ Mag personally, we've got a pledge where we have a platform where we can do something about all these misjustices that have gone on, all these misquotes and misrepresentation. So we can use our platform to reach out and to push forward this message and say, listen, this needs to be a level playing field here.
So I've had a full page in DJ Mag. I kept saying I wanted the front page. I said at IMS to Carl Loban, who I love, I want to be on the front page one day. You need black girls on the front page, and he's had many black DJs on the front, and I'm not a DJ. But I did get a full page explaining, my situation, how I am one of the most sampled singers and yet not credited as much as other people. So, and it really helps. It really does make people respect you when they see a full page in DJ Mag is something special, So I'm really grateful. Thank you.
I want to just pick in, as I said, Rob's back online now. So I want to get an introduction from Rob and ask him about his personal experiences in terms of what he's found being a black man and a black DJ in the dance music industry, positive, if he's had any negative situations,
No problem. Well, thank you for that, Michael. Just a quick one. Sorry about the technical difficulties earlier on. My name's Rob Davy from Mutiny, Mutiny UK. We have 5 artist albums since we've been working together since about 1996. Record labels from Virgin to Underwater Records to Southern Fried, remixing from everyone. I'll just say everyone. Other labels from Ovum to God knows who else. But anyway, I'm here now. What I would like to say is, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me to do this. I really appreciate it, but I'll get straight to the point. I've actually got quite a different experience from a lot of people I know. I actually found myself to be quite lucky as far as my first entry to the music business. I mean, I started writing music from the age of about 16, and I started like most people I know. I was in a sound. I DJ'd. Well, I say I was in a sound. I was allowed to carry records, and then I progressed to being allowed to play a few records of my own, and that was about 16, 17. And then I worked for a studio in Brixton called the Moderator Studios, where I was the studio lackey. I went to get red stripes, picked up anything else they wanted to smoke in the evenings and things like that. And then I got some downtime, and I kind of started progressing by experimenting with music. And that was like about 1920. And my first release was actually from a group called Genocide 2. I don't know if you guys remember Genocide 2 from way back in the day. They were known for making or being basically the first prodigy.
Mark Sandrups used to manage Genocide 2.
Yeah. We all went to the same school in South London called Tulsa Boys School. I was the youngest out of the whole crew, like 2 years below everyone. But they allowed me in because, well, I made beats or whatever. So I was part of that whole crew. So that was breaks or edgy types of sounds and hip hop and all the rest of it. So it was a nice little way in. But I was only kind of doing pre-production for a lot of things. And then I was out the studio. But then I wanted to get into dance music because I heard about it. And my way forward was in through the garage scene. And the garage scene was like, wow. It was like a completely different type of vibe. It was mostly a black crowd, I'll be honest. Back in London, you know, the Tough Jams, the MC Creeds and all those kind of people. But it was amazing. It was a really nice change from hip hop. There was a lot of women there for a start, and no one really cursed if you stepped on their toes, and it was a really nice vibe. But then I got into house music, and house music is a different kind of flavor than garage. But this is where I think we're quite lucky, especially in the UK, where we kind of mix and blend with everyone. You know, there isn't a huge amount of, I find, in segregation. Well, back then, when it came to music, it was more about the vibe and how people were, and it was music and it was love. But I'll be honest, when I got into the house scene after that, I found that there were things that were different than how in the garage scene. There was a little bit of separate kind of situations. It wasn't necessarily as black as the garage scene was, you know, but kind of semi moving on quickly, when I started writing house music and actually releasing house music, it actually happened quite quickly for me. I wrote my first house track, I think, in 1996, which was a collaboration with Dylan from Mutiny. And by 2000, we had a record deal with Virgin. And I wasn't even trying to get a deal. I always wanted to be a producer. But I was told by someone, she's passed away now, that if I was trying to do this on my own, as a black artist, there's a possibility I might not be able to get as far as I would by working with a white partner, which is quite sad, actually, because it's definitely all been about the music, you know, and that is definitely been a negative thing for me, and it's always been in the back of my mind, you know.
Yeah.
I want to bring in I want to quickly bring in Jaguar here, because we've heard from you, Rob, and we've heard from Rowetta. Before I go back to Paulette, about the experience you've had previously coming into the scene when the scene was fledgling and it was breaking through. Mm-hmm. Some of the situations that you've experienced. As one of the new generation of DJs and presenters coming through into the dance music scene, what's your experience has been, Jaguar? Have you felt racism, or have you felt that some of the struggles that some of the guys have been through before have enabled it to be an easier place for a young black artist and DJ to come through in today's scene? Had some experiences with that?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, actually, and like everyone's experience is different, and like, you know, I'm mixed race, and my experience to someone who's like a black female might be different, or everyone's, you know, you have to sort of relate your experience to what you know. But for me personally, like, and I've been doing quite a lot of work, like this summer, like interviewing a lot of black artists, like Paulette being one of them, and sort of some of the pioneers, the unsung black pioneers of our scene. And for me personally, like having people to look up to is so important. But within like in terms of like Black artists, especially Black female artists to look up to, like I felt like I didn't really have many role models in that field until I actually did research and found people like Paulette, and I've found so many amazing people to look up to. But I feel like from speaking to people about their experiences and hearing from you guys, like I feel like you have really helped create the world where we're at now, because what I see now is a lot of amazing different like sub scenes out there, like some prioritizing people of color, some prioritizing queer people of color, or just female only nights. You know, you've got things like Babes in London, or like Pussy Palace, you've got Meat Free in Manchester, you've got these amazing subgroups which in a way help open doors for people who aren't just straight white males. And like if you don't feel comfortable in a mainstream club, there are now like little places where you can go, and I think that is a result of like people like yourselves paving the way. And me personally, like to be honest, I'm quite fearless when it comes to like grabbing opportunities. So I've never actually felt, oh, I can't do this because I'm mixed race, or because I'm a girl, because I'm queer. I've never had that, because maybe that's who I am, or maybe it's a bit easier now, I don't know. But you know, just the usual things I've had is like when I was coming up, people assuming that I play hip hop or like rap music because I'm brown, and it's like, why can't I play electronic music? And and also like people's ignorance, not knowing that like that electronic music is Black as well. And I think it comes on both sides, from white people and Black people. People still don't know, and that's been the biggest thing to push. That's my answer for that. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's what you just said is very true, because a lot of dance music and most genres of dance music have been influenced or pioneered by Black artists: house, techno, drum bass, grime, lights, even from jazz and the blues. However,
rock and roll. Chuck Berry, Little Richard. You know, let's go back.
In terms of Black representation being airbrushed out of history, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm going to push this one to Paulette.
I think, you know, sometimes I think it's not necessarily malicious. I think when everybody writes a book, when people write a book, they have an agenda, they have their story to tell. So first of all, it's like they are at this point on the map, and they're telling the story about all these people that they know and that they revere and that they think of, and they aren't really looking outside to tell, or, you know, they don't necessarily want to tell the whole story. Yeah, I understand that. I can make excuses in that way. But when you're telling a very specific story and you're narrowing it down and you're talking about a particular club, like the Hacienda, and you're talking about how it started and who started it and who was there, then it becomes a little bit more problematic. You know, just like, you know, I'm using the Hacienda as a case in point, because one of the DJs that started the Hacienda alongside Mike Pickering was Hugh and Clark. He's a Black guy. They hardly ever talk about Hewan. He is like, gets about one column inch in all of the history. Nobody, like, it's all about Mike Pickering, Graham Park, John De Silva, Justin Robertson, Sasha, even Lauren Garnier. You know, do the tally, but there were actually Black people there, and they don't talk about the Black people.
Alan Erasmus as well from Factory.
Exactly, you know, and
I've never even heard of them. It's terrible.
No,
do you know what I mean? but to somebody coming from Manchester, to me, before I started to DJ at the Hacienda, I went to the nude night on a Friday night, Mike Pickering and Hugh and Clark, and my family went for Hugh and Clark's music. And when the crowd started changing at the Hacienda, it was because Hugh and Clark left. So a lot of the Black people stopped going. You know, so there's a certain bit of the history. There's chunks of histories that just don't get told. And even like a week ago, it popped up on somebody's Facebook page, you know, somebody wanted to tell the story about women in house music and how women have been really pushing it forward. And I do think there is this story to be told, because nobody does talk about all the female managers and all the female record company executives. Anyway, as it goes, the list started to be made, and I'm watching it. And the list started to be made. And it's like, I agree with all the people on it, but then I made a point. You're missing about 10 key players here. And I just listed Gladys Pizarro, Judy Griffith from Fabric, Alternate, Barbara Tucker for Underground Network. There was myself, there's Smoking Joe. All the Black people were missing off the list.
Yeah.
And it's frightening that even in 2020, when people come up with this great idea to make a film about women in the music industry, that they can still miss out all the people in color, people of color. And that is shocking.
It's really, you know, it's funny because you say it's shocking, but it's almost like, I wish I was surprised. You know, I wish I could get really, really upset about it. I mean, the reason why I started making in dance music or being involved with it was because of those, maybe it's a slight bit of naivety, I don't know. It's the euphoria, the acceptance of everybody. Whatever you look like, whatever you sound like, whatever you dance like, you're allowed to be part of this big family. And it isn't like that. There was a glaze, and it's really sad and it's really unfortunate. And I want to be really angry about it, but I also want something to be done. So I want this anger to be put into another era where steps are moved forward.
Well, I think in a way that was, you know, watching that list roll up, I think probably 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just let it roll. And then the film gets made and it's just like, you know, another film gets made with no, you know, without the full spectrum of people who were involved in it. But that now I feel I have a voice. I feel now that people are listening, or that people have to listen. You know, they can't actually turn the deaf ear anymore, because, you know, it's a powerful, you know, like you say, Rowetta, social media is very fucking powerful. Excuse the French, I shouldn't, you know, but it's really powerful. And if you really want to pull somebody up, you can do it really quickly. Yeah. And they have to fix it. So
basically, we're saying that one way of addressing this issue is media outlets such as us, like ourselves, are in a position where we should be pushing forward and doing something about this in order to bring up the recognition of Black people in the music history, dance music, from the historical side of things. And we're in a position where we can use our voice to help amplify everybody else's voices.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important, because I think, and it's maybe a fault of Black people ourselves, is we don't jump up and down enough and shout about ourselves.
It's communication. Yeah,
and
it's communication.
We really need to push ourselves. It's not that we're sitting back and expecting other people to do it, but we just don't do it. And now we have to play the same game. Otherwise, you're going to get erased. And it's that simple.
I think maybe before we didn't shout about it as much because we want people to work with us and not think we're going to be difficult by keep going on about it. I think so. It's easier to do on social media, but if you walk into a studio and start mouthing it, or at a meeting, I think I would have definitely worried a couple of years ago about it putting people off working with me.
True. But then why do we have to be worried about it putting people off? But nobody else has to be worried.
I'm not as worried now because I'm over 50 and I don't care anymore. I've been in the game too long. But I definitely was before.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally understand that. I do. I get it.
Do you think that with the Black Lives Matter movement, this has helped to push forward the agenda in terms of, listen, Black people need to be recognised for their role that they played in the dance music industry and historically, present and the future. Do you think during the summer it's, as I said, a very sensitive situation. The issues that happened during the summer are now making people realise and recognise that there is a need for a more equal playing field in terms of Black, POC, LGBTQ plus representation in the dance music genre in spectrum.
Myself, sorry, just speaking for myself, just quickly, I don't think it's made a huge amount of difference for me personally, because I think there's so many different things that happen through different communities, and we're getting so segregated with everyone's got a different channel, everyone's got a different path, everyone's got a different want and a need. We almost need to go back a little bit, step back a little bit, and go back to basics and try and get along on a basic plan first, and then discuss where the problem is, because there is a huge problem with communication, with translation, with PC, and people just not communicating. There's a big gap between the teens now and what they feel is the right thing to do and what is allowed, and between more grown-up people, shall I say. So once we can get that human thing started, that communication first, then I think certain people just need to step back a little bit, and then we could perhaps move forward. Yes, it's good for communication. Yes, it's good for putting things in the forefront. But then people like ourselves aren't necessarily communicating through social media. We perhaps like to do things face to face. We like to see someone in there, they see what they're looking like, their emotions. So our dialogue is different. So how can we communicate with people who might be able to make change if we can't even have dialogue with them in the first place?
So pushing
that makes any sense.
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of the industry as a whole, basically, if we go back to basics, so everybody, like I said, the original concept of dance music was inclusivity, bringing everyone together. If we go back to the basics of this, and then bring everyone back together again and push it forward, knowing what we know now, do you think this is a sort of movement that will help push forward the fact that Black people have been whitewashed out of the dance music history at times, and it has been harder for Black DJs when you look at some of the lineups, they're not as diverse as they potentially can be. Do you think that with Black Lives Matter, it is now going to make people get up, look up, sit up and be aware of where we need to go? And as you said, by all coming together and talking about this, do you think it will push us forward?
I would hope it did. I would hope it does. But there's still that, question of how people are booking now anyway, which is algorithm-led, chart position-led, Beatport top 10, Spotify million streams, that kind of thing. So in a way, unless you change that thing, it's not really going to change anything for any lineups for any colour, really. It's just all led by how many sales you've got. So, you've still got that very obvious business, business format that is squashing or squeezing the life out of the talent pool, really. But I would hope that the Black Lives Matter thing has opened people's wallets and minds to remember that, when you are booking techno DJs and female techno DJs, there is Cassie, there is Shinado, there were people more than, there are Black females who have been in the techno game for so long,
big time.
From, Cassie's from Cocoon and Shinado, it's just like...
It's just a difficult time though, because we haven't got gigs to be booked, booking people at the moment. So it's come at a really weird time for that, and it's keeping the politics separate from the music at the moment, because at the moment most people are just trying to live and trying to make some kind of income and work and just survive. So it's very, very difficult. And there's just as many white people supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, I know, as in fact more that I know, to be honest, really, that go on the marches and all that lot and really campaigning.
Definitely.
Near me in Sale, it's all white. I mean, they stand there, there's only about probably 50 of them, but every week they're there, and they're all white. with the Black Lives Matters banners, and it's lovely that they want to do that. But I try and keep out of that, because I know when I see a musician, it's obvious that I'm going to support the Black Lives Matter campaign. And I do in a little way, but I don't preach and I don't lecture, because we are musicians at the end of the day. And I want people to know me as a singer. I'm not by any means these people who are much better at talking about Black Lives Matter than me. But I love the fact that it's got so much support. It's amazing. And hopefully we'll get back to doing gigs. And they will, because I think they're trying, like on television, they're trying to have more people, more Black people representing, even with a voiceover on Good Morning Britain. They've got some Black guy doing it now. He's trying a little bits, and it's like, I don't care if it's just a token Black person doing some of these things.
Yeah, you need the token.
Better than none, exactly.
Yeah, you need the token.
I've been asked to do loads more on television than I would. I don't do a lot of television because I don't like doing loads of telly. I like doing radio. But it's definitely they need to have a Black person on most panels, so they'll ring, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's been positive. I think it's been positive, like from what I've seen. Obviously, like my generation like lives on social media, but like I generally, from the conversations I've had with friends of people I don't know, like during this time, I genuinely do think it's making a difference. And like, you know, there's a lot more panels like this that I've seen or been on, which weren't happening in the last few years. And I just think every little helps. Like obviously it's shit circumstances that all of this has happened, but I genuinely feel like it is making a difference. And I feel like whether it's change coming from the bottom and it's going to take a while to come up, or it's trickling down from the top, wherever, like I think it is like making a difference. And as you said, like it's not about segregating people against each other, like having allies and like white people on these marches as well is amazing. And I think like that is the way we're going to have to tackle this, is like coming together no matter who you are. Just like it's just like your way of thinking, isn't it? You either like want equality or you don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think, you know, I do think, you know, you both made really valid points there. It is about the coming together. I do think it is making a difference, because we have seen, you know, like you said, we have seen this proliferation of panels talking about the subject. We didn't even have that before.
Exactly.
I stopped going to ADE and IMS and all of those conferences because there were never any Black people on the panel.
Yeah.
There was never anybody that spoke to me and my experience. And the last time I went to a conference, I was actually used as an
diversity.
An example in the room of why female DJs didn't do so well. And it was the moderator said, oh, well, you know, in his little blurb, he said, oh, well, why hasn't DJ Paulette and what's her name, Sonique, why haven't Sonique and DJ Paulette made a success of their careers when Annie Mac and Heidi have? And I was just sitting in a room full of other white people thinking, how embarrassing.
What is that about?
And it was the last time I went to that conference, because it was just like, you know what? I don't actually, you know, I paid 300 and X quid to attend this conference, to be actually humiliated in the room by the moderator. It's like, no, that.
Well, next time come with me and we blag it in everywhere. You don't have to pay nothing. I go to the mall and get respect, and I get in everywhere. Just blag
it.
That's the way forward.
Yeah, it is the way forward.
So this is why
not in Brighton.
I see now, you know, having all these panels is a massive step forward, because it is actually making people look at this. This is an issue. Look at this. This is an issue. And it's not just an issue for the magazines. It's not just an issue for the bookers. It's not just an issue for the nightclubs. It's also an issue for the conferences. It's also an issue for the record labels. It like fans out, you know. So as important as it is for the magazines to have Black writers and to put out Black stories, it is also important for the conferences to have black speakers, black moderators, and
on all the panels.
All of the panels, not just the black panel, but on all of the panels.
Yeah.
I think it's important, that we have people like I think it's important that we have people like Jaguar. I think it's important like someone like herself, who's clearly is very well spoken, who knows what she's doing. She can translate very well, and that is the key. I mean, everything we talk about generally is always about the future, and the future is generally in the younger people. But I think we need to try and connect with the younger people now. Now is the time that we really need to try and sow these seeds with these people and say, look, this is getting out of hand. We need to have some kind of change.
We want to do something.
And we have to have more faith in younger people as well, because we do write younger people off of just following up and being sheep and all the rest of it. But there are so many young people who do have something of quality to say.
Absolutely.
Is it part of this educating as well, educating about the dance music history and making sure that people know about the education? Because if you look at black music, a lot of it in terms of the techno side of things, when you've got talking Detroit, you've got the Bellevue Free, and it's a very black-led genre. But if you talk about techno now, and
completely white,
very white. When you look at some of the lineups, it is not saying they're not good DJs or good artists or good performers; they're talented on their own. But it's bringing this education about where the music has come from, and as Rob said, when you've got the likes of Jaguar coming into the scene, bringing in this information to the new
generation, and the list is endless. But it is important for them to not just tell the new stories, but to bring the old stories, to bring the history with you as well. So actually, the weight is like you say, Rob. The weight does fall a bit on young people's shoulders, because you have the stage, you have the talking stick.
They have the power. I mean, I can't go on an 18 to 30 holiday now.
Well, you've got the talking stick because Radio 1, your presenters are generally under 30. So you've got the talking stick.
Yeah, of course. And I'm very I acknowledge that, and for me, my mission is to spread this message, and I'm still learning. As I said, I've been learning a lot about the women, black women who are the unsung heroes of our scene, like Sharon White and Smoking Joe and Stacey Hot Wax Hale, yourself, and why did I not hear about those names when I first read into the history of house and techno? And the more you learn, you realize how much work there is to do. And, so I hope you guys can trust in our generation, because so many want to change this, and we're so passionate about unveiling the truth and making the world just a better place for everyone, for people of color, for women, for trans, for non-binary, LGBTQ. That seems to be on the agenda. That's on my agenda for sure.
I think it wasn't before on BBC introducing some of the local ones, but very white, very looking for, played a lot of Arctic Monkeys type music. And there's a lot of young black kids and dance artists, young, that weren't getting played on the BBC introducing. And it was saying in certain cities you were never going to make it on through the BBC. I think they're trying to change it though. Certainly have in Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester's had an amazing revamp of Roche.
And I think you did also just make a point there as well, Rowetta. Playlists.
Yeah.
Which are the artists? What music are you playing? Who are you? Who are you letting speak about it? Who are you letting sing about it? We have to make it more open, more diverse, more balanced.
To everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah. Because young black kids were not making it through BBC introducing here in Manchester. And it's terrible. So much talent in this city and in the country. And it's getting on my nerves, but now they are starting to get played.
Well, A&R, who's signing these records, the people that are signing it, and you can look at it and how many DJ outfits I look at. It's almost got to be, it's almost turned into Lego. The white male 24-year-old DJ production duo. It's doesn't anybody else make music? Isn't anybody else signing anything?
So it's like an assimilation. Everybody's got to look the same. It's like the Borg. They're all assimilated.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There are other people making music. It's like you have to actually start listening to your you know, the links that people, the A&Rs actually have to start listening to the links that they're getting sent and looking at the pictures and not actually saying we want to take 2 white guys over that.
But some of them too, the young white guys, I just did something for Salado. They are really talented as well.
Yeah, they are.
I know, I'm just saying, but no, because sometimes it's easy for me to go, do you know what? I'm doing too many things with the Salado versus there's quite a few of these, as you say, these young white lads. But as long as they make great music, then I work with them. But I also work with plenty of black people.
I'd love to do a track with you. I'd love to do it.
You've got the, you know, you've got the contacts now.
I would love to, yeah. As long as I love the tune.
You've said it. He's a dope producer.
And then we'll be on the front of DJ Mag. Can't be promised.
Very, very conscious of time, and I know that I'm going to have to start wrapping this up. We could speak for this for another hour on top of it.
Yes, we could.
I was going to say, do you think 2020 has been a sea change in people's attitudes in terms of black music and black music representation in the dance music scene? There's been a bigger awareness of black music, black representation in the dance music scene.
I think yes, personally, from what I've seen, from the conversation I've had, and actually off the back of what you're saying, like what is the most important thing is, you know, artists who are like white males, like Salado, as long as they become aware of the situation as well, like they're the people at the top. So if you're at the top and you're watching this, you have so much power, so you need to use that influence to work with black artists. Absolutely. And to credit black artists and to support them, get them to support you on tour, book them. So I think if those people are listening, and I've had some great convos with people like that, like I do think that's a really amazing thing, and a really great way we can change is through allies like that, like giving people a leg up.
Big time.
Well, hopefully, but in my experience, most people, especially male DJs, a lot of them are narcissists.
Don't want to share.
Of any colour, whatever colour they are.
Doesn't matter. They don't want to share.
They don't care.
I'm sorry, Todd, but Todd Terry does it all the time. He never used to mention me at all. And then he did a rework of something. And I said, you can't do it again. He completely missed out. Who's supposed to be singing the song? It's my voice all through it. But he didn't mention me again. And I just said, no. Not now. Like that was only 2 years ago. He's got to stop it, and it stops. Now he puts my name in big writing. But it's really annoying that he doesn't. Salado would have. They'd mention me every day of the week because they're from Manchester.
He's scared, mate. He's from Manchester, and he's scared.
And they're from exactly. He's not stupid.
I do. Sorry, wrapping up.
Thank you very much. Thank you all of you for being involved in this topic of discussion. It's a very sensitive discussion, very sensitive topic. As I said, we can speak a lot longer for it. But I think we're pushing out those conversations between the past, the present, and the future with the next generation of artists and DJs coming through. And conversations like these is only going to help the cause. And as I said, help people remember the origins of dance music in terms of black representation, the people who have been part of the scene and the people who are coming into the scene as well. So I'd like to thank you all, and sorry for cutting you off there, Paulette, at the end there.
No, that's okay.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. It's brilliant.
Absolute pleasure.
See you all on the dance floor.
Yeah. We will dance together again.
In about 5 years.
Yeah, totally.
Take care.
Thank you. That has been events, Black Music Representation for BMC 2020. I'm Mick Wilson, and thank you very much.